Becky Lynch did a sit-down promo with Charlie Caruso that I thought was the highlight of the show and the most productive segment on Monday Night Raw. It served two purposes. Number one, to make Becky more sympathetic and to have her do something that she does not often do on television, which is show vulnerability. She's not been seen as vulnerable very much since becoming champion. She's never really been seen as the underdog or anything like that. She talked about how the powers that be are trying to protect her now because she's the golden goose. It's very different than when people used to call Hogan the golden goose back in the mid-'80s, and he truly was. I mean, this guy was shitting out gold every single week. You know, when people found out they were working on the house shows that Hogan was on, they were happy. Because they knew that their paycheck would be a lot higher than if they were on the other show with the other crew. That's a golden goose. I think golden goose now has a very different definition than it did back then. But based on the way they're pushing her, yes, Becky is the golden goose of the women's division. And so in storyline, she says the powers that be are protecting me because they don't think I can beat Asuka. I'm the champion, and yet she's been off TV sometimes for weeks at a time because they think Asuka's got her number, and she does. Becky has yet to beat Asuka one-on-one. She and Charlotte lost to Asuka at TLC last year, and again at the Royal Rumble this year. One-on-one. Asuka not only beat Becky Lynch, she tapped her out. Something they have ignored all year. And they had to eventually come back to it. Apparently, we can thank Paul Heyman for that. So had Paul Heyman not been put in charge, or at least welcomed into the creative process on Monday Night Raw, I hesitate to say in charge because we don't know the extent to which he really is in charge. But based on, there was I think a note, it was this week in The Observer, that was a Heyman idea. Heyman made the call a few months ago to go back in that direction. Hey, you know, we have this story that we never really followed up on here. Let's build to the eventual rematch between Asuka and Becky Lynch. So at least credit to him for that. If that was his idea, it's about damn time. You've had this story dangling out there for so long. I mean, believe me, you can lay a lot of blame on Heyman as well for all of the Raw problems. I hardly think this show has improved all that much in the time that he has been, having a more of an influence over it. So if you're going to blame Vince McMahon, Heyman deserves some of that blame as well. But if that was his idea, it's a great idea. How do you not follow up on that story? I mean, you talk about a gaping hole that needs to be filled. I mean, come on. So Asuka now wants to become Asuka Two Belts. She is one half of the women's tag champs. She wants to be the Raw Women's Champion now. Becky goes into this match as the underdog. But she needs to know. She's talking in this promo about how she needs to know that she can beat Asuka. It made her vulnerable, but it also put over Asuka in a big way as this killer, which she really has not been positioned as much since she's been part of a tag team. We haven't really seen Killer Asuka in a long time. Give people a reason. Why should this woman be feared? So that's why this promo worked so well. Made Becky vulnerable, but it put Asuka over like the final boss in a video game. And now 1 year later, after Becky tapped out to Asuka, she can go to the Royal Rumble and finally get that win back. Which she will, because I think Becky's opponent for WrestleMania very likely is going to be Shayna Baszler. You know, I mean, could it be Ronda Rousey? It's possible. I still think that that's a match, that really is a match that should happen at some point. I don't know if Ronda's coming back so quickly or not. It depends on, what she wants to do. But I think it ends up being Baszler. I thought this was great stuff. This was the highlight of the show.